Happening now, we hear exclusively from a local mom who's speaking out about continued bullying of her son at Jamestown High School. And a new class of firefighting recruits is about to join the ranks of first responders here in Jamestown. Plus, the story behind a gigantic pumpkin grown right here in our region.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, a local mother is at wit's end, not knowing what to do about continued bullying of her son at Jamestown High School. Bullying, the parent fears, is only getting worse. Alyssa Wright spoke to the mom exclusively. She joins us live now in studio today. And Alyssa, I hear this horrible act was all caught on camera.
That's right, Justin. 15-year-old Yadiel Diaz was subject to a public humiliation stunt by a fellow student in an act of violence and bullying. Now Yadiel's mother, Raquel, has had enough. These gang members, according to Raquel Diaz, call themselves the Young and Deadly and have been terrorizing her son for a long time.
I'm going to say in February or March, one of the gang members, because I don't even know what to call them anymore, went into my son's classroom while he was sitting down and flipped the desk over and stomped on his face.
Diaz says she's pleaded with the school multiple times to help, but to no avail.
There's so much bullying at JHS. And everybody just tries to sweep it under the rug. Everybody just tries to keep everybody else quiet. No, I went through the proper channels. I told my child, just keep calm. Words are words. As long as they don't put their hands on you, just let it go.
The incident in the video took place last Friday following a verbal altercation between one of the alleged gang members and Yadiel.
The situation on Friday was Yadiel was walking home with his brother and 3 of his friends and his girlfriend. The kid says something to Yadiel.
To make things worse, the parent fears her son's bully was armed.
I was also assured that he makes it very well known that he has a gun on school property every day. So that's why nobody jumped in. I shouldn't have to send my kids with the worry of, is this bully going to be there? Or what's going to happen next? I told the officer when I spoke to him on Friday, I said, I'm not going to bury my child.
The mother has tried to teach her children to keep to themselves.
And I apologized to him so many times because he said to me, he said, look at where you're at. Your advice got me. I'm kneeling on the floor.
Jamestown Public School Superintendent Dr. Kevin Whitaker responded in a statement saying, quote, "This weekend I was made aware of videos circulating on social media regarding students allegedly enrolled in our district. As a district, we are not able to share details about an ongoing investigation involving minors. However, we are investigating the alleged conduct that occurred, and appropriate action will be taken following that investigation," end quote. In the end, Raquel simply wants the violence to stop, which is why she is sharing her story publicly with us. Live in studio, Alyssa Wright, WNY News Now.
A Kennedy man is accused of assaulting a juvenile, resulting in injury and prompting the youngster to run away from home. Back on September 22nd, New York State Police responded to Falconer Central School for a report of a runaway juvenile. An investigation revealed that a few days prior, the student was allegedly confronted by 49-year-old Joe Lamphere as part of a dispute over a cell phone in the youth's possession. Lamphere is accused of striking the juvenile several times, resulting in chronic headaches the days following. Police said Lamphere also allegedly destroyed a Dell Chromebook issued to the victim by the school. And a 38-year-old Frewsburg man was allegedly busted with child pornography following an investigation by state police. Troopers with the Bureau of Criminal Investigation received a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children that between December 2020 and March of 2022, multiple pornographic files of underage kids were uploaded to computers controlled and owned by John Peterson. A search warrant was later executed at Peterson's residence, where police said they allegedly found a loaded 9mm handgun and 2 computers. The computer crime unit analyzed those devices and they confirmed that the child porn was present. Well, 1 month from now, a new batch of firefighters will gear up in Jamestown, joining the ranks of the Jamestown Fire Department. As Bronson Rasmussen reports, it's all part of an effort to improve public safety within the city.
At the end of May, the Jamestown City Council hired 4 new police officers, 4 new firefighters, and okayed the purchase of a new ambulance for the department. While the ambulance's acquisition is still some time out, the new firefighters are currently in training and are expected to graduate next month.
We get weekly reports from the academy staff that keeps us advised of how our recruits are performing while they're out there. They're doing very well, and I'm very much looking forward to bringing them on.
Once those 4 graduate from the academy, it will leave the city of Jamestown with 60 firefighters. And while that number does seem like a lot, Fire Chief Matthew Kuhn believes that number won't last.
There's always change going on, and recruitment is something that we take very seriously, obviously. So the sooner we can start that process, the sooner we can get those vacancies filled before we have members retire.
Recently, the Jamestown Police Department has run into problems recruiting, having used up their civil service list. For the fire department, however, recruitment has not been as difficult.
I believe we've had maybe a little bit of less difficulty than the police department has had in recent times. We do have a valid civil service list. We still have eager candidates on that list, so it's my hope as we move forward that our recruitment drive will still be fairly successful.
The department also faces other troubles, like the dire need for EMS workers and the lack of equipment. Currently, the department has 1 ambulance for the entire city. While there are plans to get another one, the process has proven more difficult to do. Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Bronson, thank you. Motorists in our region, they continue to note falling gas prices while national and state averages are once again on the rise. That's according to AAA, who reported today the average price for a gallon of gas in Chautauqua County, it's decreased 18 cents from this time last month, currently sitting at $3.83. Across the nation, the average price rose 12 cents in just 1 week's time. That's up to $3.92. This increase, AAA reports, is due to multiple factors, including a refinery fire in Ohio and maintenance on roughly 6 West Coast refineries. While our region dodged those factors for now, rising oil prices could force gasoline prices up in the near future. Since last week, when OPEC announced that production would be cut by 2 million barrels of oil per day, the price of oil climbed roughly $10 higher a barrel than the previous Monday. Well, now let's switch gears and get a first check of our weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter standing by live with that, and yet another beautiful picture today coming off of Chautauqua Lake.
Yes, it is. Today is a day of lots of sunshine out there. You can see those clear blue skies back behind me from the Chautauqua Lake Association sky cam. So today is a day to get out and enjoy the sunshine and the warmer air, of course, while we have it. Nothing going on the satellite and radar. We'll zip right through it. The high yesterday was 59. We started the day at 40, 84, and 25 are the records. But also keep in mind here, the average high for today is 63. And I just wanted to remind you of where we're going. The average high for November 1st goes to 54, the 1st of December, 42, and the 1st of the new year, 34. So the colder air is on the way, and you'll see it in the 7-day later on. So a 63 to 70 today, lots of sunshine, quite warm, a fantastic day to get outdoors and enjoy this with a southwest wind. Now, as we mentioned, we do have cold air on the way. When is it going to arrive? We'll talk about it with the Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-day later in the show, Justin.
All right, Dakota, we look forward to seeing you in just a little bit as we continue the latest legal action now seeking to restore a controversial statewide gun law here in New York. And later, flu season, it's right around the corner. We're breaking down what you need to know about this year's strain. Stay with us. WNY News Now. We'll be right back.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than WNY Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on WNY Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking great with our expert detailing crew. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-292 to set up an appointment. WNY Auto Service, fair, honest, and the best prices guaranteed.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
New York's Attorney General is making a move in court to keep a controversial statewide gun law in effect. Monday, AG Letitia James announced her office filed a request to stay a federal court's temporary restraining order on New York's Concealed Carry Improvement Act. If the court approves the stay, the law would remain in effect as it is. As it stands right now, the temporary restraining order, taking effect this week, prevents the state from enacting several of the provisions. That included banning people from carrying concealed weapons in public places like zoos, libraries, parks, and homeless shelters. The order also prohibited New York from enacting a law that would make the Times Square a gun-free zone. The state AG says her office is appealing the ruling and has asked the court to stay the order until the appeal process is over. Well, 27 cities and towns, they've recently been selected for the second phase of the state's asset management program, which helps protect and improve local wastewater treatment systems.
And we need to make sure that we're evaluating each of these components of the system and making sure that it's being provided the proper maintenance to keep delivering clean water to New Yorkers every single day.
Now, this asset program helps local governments with access to resources they need to create a long-term plan for their infrastructure. The $10 million program came from the Clean Water Infrastructure Act and is administered by the New York Department of Environmental Conservation and Environmental Facilities Corporation. The Pennsylvania State Police recently released third quarter data for 2022 showing the total weight and dollar amount of illegal drugs confiscated by troopers from July through September. This data shows there was more fentanyl confiscated in the third quarter of this year than all of 2020. In 2020, a total of nearly 8 pounds of fentanyl was seized by troopers with a value of over $1.2 million. Well, from July through September of this year, they seized over 85 pounds of fentanyl with a value of more than $3 million. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection also saw a recent spike in fentanyl seizures, and in August alone, according to the DEA, 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal, depending on a person's body size, tolerance, and past use of the drug. Well, mark your calendars. They might be getting filled with fall activities, but it is important to get your flu shot. Doctors across the country, they believe that this flu season could be more severe than recent years. Elsbeth Meisner has more on why doctors and health officials are concerned about this year's flu season.
There's no such thing as it's just the sniffles or it's just a sore throat.
We are ramping up for another flu season, one that health officials are predicting to be a severe one.
It was a really hard flu season in the southern hemisphere, so more cases, more severe disease, more hospitalization associated with the influenza virus. So if we use, the people that are 6 months ahead of us as any indication, it probably will be a rough flu season.
This year's flu season comes at a time where many people may not have been exposed to the virus for the past few years.
Remember, is most of us haven't experienced flu, been exposed to flu done anything with flu in about 2 years. So, usually you get, you might get flu annually. And so your body does recognize it better.
But when is it the best time to get that extra layer of protection? Dawson says it's coming up.
Around Halloween or Halloween week is probably the perfect time so that you have that immunity, that immune memory throughout the influenza season.
And while the flu can prey on anyone, Dawson says the young and the old are most at risk.
Anybody who's 65 and older or has a pre-existing condition that makes them more susceptible to respiratory diseases 100% should go and get their influenza shot. I also think that kids in elementary school, especially, influenza spreads super easily in schools. We know that those kids are going to be spending more recesses inside. They're going to be spending more classroom time inside. So they should go and get it as well. Influenza usually attacks the young and the old the hardest.
Elspeth Meisner, Erie News Now.
Elspeth, thank you. When we return, a full look at our weather forecast. Stay right there. WNY News Now is back just after this.
When severe weather breaks, one team has you covered, tracking the storms as they happen. Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights,
Vests.
Please, give us some room.
slow down.
Slow down and move over.
When you need help,
It's our job
to help you.
to save you.
Despite the danger,
This danger is real.
do your part.
Please.
Slow down.
Slow down.
And move over.
Move over.
Walking from Jamestown to Orchard Park is a long trek, but when rallying for a good cause, anything is possible. I'm Patrick Smeraldo, and I need your help to get there. Starting on November 11th, I'm walking over 60 miles to the Buffalo Bills Stadium, raising money for two great causes: Harrison's Playmakers and foster care in Chautauqua County. Harrison's Playmakers is a non-profit launched by former Buffalo Bills defensive tackle Harrison Phillips to connect kids with disabilities in sports. Furthermore, donations for this 3-day hike will also benefit CASA of Chautauqua County and the Stone family, who are assisting local foster care children during National Adoption Month. Learn more about my journey and to donate at ccsolutions716.com.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back, everybody. Wanted to start off with another picture from our friend Don. These are geese. Yes, these are geese, and so the geese were enjoying some nice outdoor time as well. And the stars last night were out and about. Did you get a chance to stargaze last night? Because it was fantastic. This was around after midnight last night. I took this with my iPhone, and this is using night mode. So the iPhone's night mode brings in a little too much background light, but you can see the stars here. And Justin, I want to riddle your brain. Do you have any idea what this little flashing thing is right here? Is it aliens?
Yeah, it might be.
Well, this little flashing thing is not aliens. What it is
Too bad.
You want to guess?
Is it something on? So this is the sky. It's over Jamestown.
Yes. Never mind my non-steady hand. It's not actually moving.
Okay,
it's just my
okay.
non-steady
So
hand.
it's got to be a star then of some sort, right?
Ding,
Like
ding,
the
ding, ding,
northern
ding,
star?
ding, ding, ding. Give Justin Gold lunch.
Woohoo!
Because that's exactly what it is. It's a twinkling star. So I wanted to explain this because I know some people will see those and say, oh my gosh, it's aliens. It's not aliens. It's actually stars twinkling. So here's the science behind why stars twinkle. So here's a star here in the atmosphere. Here's a star here up in the sky. The light from the star hits Earth's atmosphere, and because Earth's atmosphere has a lot of moving air within the atmosphere, air says it all, so ultimately the light from the star gets refracted in multiple directions, and that's why a star twinkles. It's actually not twinkling. It just appears to be twinkling because it's hitting the fast-moving air within the atmosphere. How's that for you? So downtown, lots of blue sky from the HD News Now cam. We're at 64 of noon hour, a southwest wind of 14, and so it is a bit breezy, but it's much warmer today. So get out and enjoy the warm air. But we've been talking about this. Cold air is going to be surging on in here over the next week or so. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature out from the Climate Prediction Center. And when you start getting into that dark blue and the purple, that indicates a good chance for below average temperatures. And next week, I really think we're going to turn much colder than we have been. So prepare for this. High pressure and control across the Northeast now, keeping us dry. This is out ahead of the next system that's going to come tomorrow. So we are going to see rain showers increasing through the day tomorrow and ultimately increase on Thursday. The temperatures go the opposite direction here, you see, on the next 7 days of your life, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. So we're 58 and falling on Thursday. That 58 is going to be in the morning, fall down to the lower 40s, possibly upper 30s in spots. And take a look at the cold air surging in, Justin. We're going to be down from the 60s to the 50s by next week. Mid-40s, Justin.
Ooh, boy, winter is coming, Dakota. Thank you very much. Well, I'm sure you've probably heard about this as well. iPhone's 14 new crash detection feature. Well, it's causing problems for some users who ride roller coasters. Apple's latest iPhone is reportedly experiencing its own accident on roller coasters by dialing 911. The feature has set off false alarms for emergency personnel near Cincinnati's Kings Island amusement park. They've received at least 6 phone calls since the new smartphone went on sale to 911 in September. Now, the fix is pretty simple. You got to put your iPhone and Apple Watch on airplane mode before boarding a coaster. Well, new reporting undercuts a key claim by President Donald Trump about documents found at Mar-a-Lago. The former president and his allies have insisted a government agency, the General Service Administration, package the boxes ultimately sent to his Florida estate. Well, now the agency has released more than 100 pages of emails and documents, proving that it was not the case. It remains unclear whether any of the thousands of documents the FBI reviewed in August were shipped by the agency. Now, those materials are now at the heart of a criminal investigation into classified materials found at the Mar-a-Lago resort. Well, Russian missiles hit several cities in Ukraine, killing around 11 people and injuring nearly 90. Now, the international community, they're condemning the attack. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp has more.
Countries like the UK, France, the US, even the United Nations are condemning this most recent attack, saying this is just another example of Russia's brutality. Ukraine's First Lady Olena Zelenska posted this video on her Twitter. This is people taking shelter in the subway due to the missile strike. She added that Russia is trying to intimidate and break them, but says in part, Ukrainians are not afraid because they know the enemy is mad because Ukraine is winning. According to the New York Times, 11 cities in Ukraine were hit with these missiles, including the western city of Lviv, which is about 50 miles from the Polish border. State Department Secretary Antony Blinken says the Kremlin strikes hit non-military targets. Instead, they hit children's playgrounds and public parks in Kyiv, including city streets and damaging heating. Other world leaders say these strikes on civilian sites demonstrates Russia's brutality because they weren't aiming for military targets. The missiles also targeted electrical power plants, transmission lines, and waterworks. Officials say it's an attempt to damage critical infrastructure in Ukraine. Another concern is that Russia is purposely targeting these infrastructure sites because winter is just right around the corner, and people are concerned that the last thing that Ukrainians need are power outages in those cold winter months. At the Capitol, Rachel Knapp reporting.
Rachel, thank you very much. Coming up next, the story behind a gigantic pumpkin grown right here in our region.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Walking from Jamestown to Orchard Park is a long trek, but when rallying for a good cause, anything is possible. Starting on November 11th, I'm walking over 60 miles to the Buffalo Bills Stadium, raising money for 2 great causes: Harrison's Playmakers and foster care in Chautauqua County. Learn more about my journey and to donate at ccsolutions716.com.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Welcome back. Halloween season, it's a special time for many people, and it's already one for one man in our region. He accomplished a major goal this year, growing a gigantic pumpkin. Erie News Now's John Last tells us how he did it.
This is Bob Bayhurst's pride and joy. It's a pumpkin weighing 1,028 pounds. It doesn't hold the world record or even the American record. But this pumpkin is the achievement of a goal that Bob worked hard to reach. Before this, his heaviest pumpkin was only 571 pounds.
Well, we've been doing this for years, and we've never accomplished anything this big. This year was exceptionally good for growing because it was a dry, hot, dry year. Hot, dry years, these things like hot, dry weather.
Bob pollinated the pumpkin on July 5th when it was the size of an egg. The seed for this particular pumpkin was ordered over the internet from a farmer in Manitoba. It came from a pumpkin that weighed 1,927 pounds. Yes, genetics are important when growing big pumpkins. Bob quickly saw results.
So from July 5th to July 31st, this thing grew to 203 pounds. So we knew we had something going here when it went to 203 pounds.
The pumpkin grew and grew. When the weight reached a certain milestone, it was time to give this orange orb a name.
In August, when it got to about 800 pounds, I decided, you know what? That's one big jack. So it got the name Big Jack. Being a jack-o'-lantern, I figured that sounded the best, Big Jack.
Bob harvested Big Jack on September 23rd. The official weigh-in at 1,028 pounds was the result of daily, tender, loving care, including over 4,000 gallons of water and 150 pounds of fertilizer. But what about next summer? Can Bob grow an even bigger pumpkin?
I want to grow one bigger. My wife says you don't have the time. We're going on vacation. So I don't know if it's going to happen or not.
With the last word in Green Township, John Last, Erie News Now.
All right, John, thank you very much. Well, great job to Bob for bringing out that giant pumpkin. I mean, wow, it's crazy. Definitely going to be up there in the local record books. And certainly good luck to him next year if his wife allows it, of course, to be able to grow another large pumpkin like that. Let us know what you think about these stories and more. Yeah, I know, right? Whatever the wife says goes. Boy, do I know that.
I'm still single, folks.
Yeah, Dakota, you have no man. You have no...
I'm a strong, independent person who don't need no man.
Yep, nope, you don't. Oh, gosh. I got to be careful what I say here. Strategic. Well, that is it for us today. Of course, news does continue 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. Let us know what you think about this story and more in the comments section of our posts. And, of course, at WNY News Now on social media. We love to connect with you. We'll leave you with this live look over Chautauqua Lake. We're back here tomorrow with another edition of WNY News Now at noon. Have a great day.